Hello guys, welcome to week number 9 of the APA. I think it's week number 9. It was in the thumbnail, it's in the title, you know what week it is. And you can already see, at least if you saw last week's video, which you might not, or if you've generally seen any of my videos, which you might not. Things took a bit different, and that's because I've already said this is actually not live recorded. I mean, this little part is. The actual battle won't be something messed up in it, so won't be live this week. It is already live. Like, next week will be live commentary. It's already recorded and it's already working, so that's fine. But yeah, you can see the matchup we're facing, and it's pretty bad. And funny story, I was actually originally very early in this season. I was actually offered the team we're facing, but it wasn't really the right time, and I don't know, like, I wasn't feeling the team, and it just ended up, you know, being picked up by Kohanx instead. And I think he has won every battle but one. So we are in the deep end, let's just say it like that. But we have to, you know, still kind of try and make this work. Where's my showdown? This is my showdown. So looking at his team, Jellicent would surprise me. I don't know what Jellicent would do against me. Drapion, I don't really see coming either. Excelgor, not really, and Kingdra, I'm not really seeing. Everysian, I'm not really seeing. Like, the others are kind of up to grasp. Because, I mean, Pelipper's not bad, and it would help, like, fire weakness against Incineroar and such, but he would also give me accurate hurricanes, which you might not want to, and, you know, it's just pretty, you know, on the fence. But, like, Megaladias, yes, it's coming. Thunderous Variant, yes, it's coming. Blaziken, if it's not bringing Pelipper, probably also coming. Clefable, yeah, probably, you know, yeah. Scizor, could definitely, yeah. Steelix, I don't like Steelix. I don't deal well with Steelix, really, but it could definitely come. So that's his team. Let's just like look into what I'm bringing. Like, you can see the first thing that I'm bringing. I'm bringing Greninja, and I was so torn because originally I had a special one, and that was nice and everything. Like, we have Expert Bell, we hit hard, so we can pivot without being punished by the Life Orb. But I was worried about Calm Mind Megaladias, because if that got a Calm Mind up, my team doesn't break it. Like, okay, Mimikyu could, but Mimikyu is slower. Incineroar could, but Incineroar is also slower. So it becomes a bit more iffy. Especially if he also gets to +1 special attack. Like, no, we don't want to deal with that. So I end up going with a physical Greninja. You know, just U-turn. Waterfall hits pretty nice on his team. Ice Punch is pretty nice on his team. And Gong Shot hits Clefable. Basically, it's a situation where we can basically hit everything super effective. And since we can hit everything super effective, we basically can always get a boost on our little expert build. So that's kind of, you know, Greninja's job. Then we have Tornadus. And we have Hurricane, because Hurricane is super spammable against his team. And Heatwave was a bit like, if he brings Pelipper, Heatwave doesn't really do anything anyway. We have Sludge Bomb because, you know, Clefable. Because Clefable, that's enough reason. And just use them to get around, get a bit of health back, because obviously we're taking recoil from Life Orb. And Defog because, you know, rocks. My team is not super weak to rocks, but they don't necessarily like them anyway, so that's the Tornadus. And we have our little Metagross here with Stealth Rocks. Yeah, this is our rocker. You know, it is what it is. Medium Bass and have but Ice Punch. Like, it just hits a lot of his team, and just like max speed taste with the Latias. Just hopefully be able to, like, break a bit through his team is kind of the goal for Metagross. Metagross is very simple. Like, it's such a simple Pokemon. Then we have an Assault Vest Dragology, because it ended up being this annoying thing where, like, Dragology has to take hits from Blaziken, which is bad, but my team does not have a good Blaziken counter. Like, one of my team is good. Rocky Helmet Garchomp, but that doesn't heal. You know, it's not really, it's not. I don't deal with Blaziken. So we have an Assault Vest because we also have to take hits from Pelipper, Kingdra, whatever if it comes. So AV Dragology, just, you know, some coverage to go around and just hopefully be able to just get a little bit of work. Just a little bit. We also have Tank Growth, because there was a reason why I had Tank Growth. Thunderous is a good reason. Virizion is a very good reason, because otherwise Virizion kind of, you know, cheers from my team, and even though I'm not that convinced that he'll bring it, it'll still be annoying, and especially the Thunderous, because Thunderous is such a problem. Like, Double Dance could destroy my team. So, you know, need something that can take hits from it. And then we just like kind of have some moves that can hit most of his team and hopefully be okay. Hopefully. And lastly we have Gastrodon, which is also for Blaziken. It's for Scizor, because Scizor is actually also quite a problem. It's for Steelix, because Steelix is also a problem. It's basically for every physical attacker. And then we have Sticky Hold, obviously, because then we cannot get the Rocky Helmet knocked off, which could be quite useful, maybe. Hopefully, we'll see. That's a team. We will just just like do this and get our little Pokemons, because now you can already see what he brought, so you know it's not really that surprising. Oh, I need to move this down. I totally planned this out so well. Yeah, that looks good. Let's just play it then. I don't need to actually find it. That was there and there. No. OBS. QuickTime. Yes, let's just go into it. I have it so that I can pause it if necessary. I mean, we will, because I still want to discuss some of the plays and such. So this is, we're challenged by him. I feel very challenged. Okay, first with leads. I did sort of kind of have a plan to like lead something like Incineroar, and I completely panicked, and I did not lead Incineroar, so I ended up leading Tangrowth, and hindsight is 2020. You know, Incineroar could actually have been quite good because he leads with his Latias, which, you know, that's a bit of a bummer. So I switch out right away. I go into my Greninja because I'm like, yeah, you could go for Psychic or something. And as I say, he does not go for a Psychic. He goes for something else. He just needs to make Evolve first, and you know, he clicks a move. He clicks a move, and it's I do this in my hand. I'm like, damn, I get hit by a Dragon Pulse. Like, I knew I could live a Dragon Pulse, so it's not because it's that bad, but it's not really great. Like, it's a lot of chip, and I'm just like, you know, I'm a dark type. You should feel threatened, so I go for U-turn. And you see, he did not switch, so that's a bit of a bummer. And I say that also, you know, tell him that, hey, I'm physical, because we do a heck of a lot to the Latias. Then I'm like, well, this was my answer, so, you know, Tornadus, hello. Because, you know, yeah, I could have Dark Balls, and it's like, yeah, you know, I can take a hit. Like, Tornadus can take a hit and kind of just U-turn out, which is also what I plan to do, because, like, now you're going to switch out, and I spec crypt this thing wrong. And U-turn would probably actually not have taken me out from when I did the calcs. It would not have taken the Latias out. So we actually speed tying with this bloody Latias. And in this one case, I mean, it worked. I guess, sort of. Because we get to chip him down again, which otherwise, he would probably have ended up around the same. But you know, we get initiative, so we don't risk switch again to an offensive move. And, you know, I just think, yeah, I go Greninja and I'm like, now you're gonna switch. You have to switch now, because now even U-turn, you know, U-turn should take him out at this point, and he also does switch. So finally we get this thing out. Also, I was so much still panicking about the fact that it could be substitute. And he brings this thing in, and I was just like, I'm gonna kill you. And I am not gonna kill this thing, because this thing is super defensive, and I'm actually going to get hurt by a Rocky Helmet. And I'm like, well, guess who's hard switching out, because I was not about to take the recoil from the helmet. So I go into Gastrodon as he doubles out. I don't know why he doubled out, but he goes back into this thing. And now now a very fun part of the battle begins, because we are both quite stubborn. He just goes for recover. And I'm just like, I don't like you. I don't like this Latias. I will go for an Ice Beam, because then I can also kind of scout, you know, a bit more about like his spread, because I could see that he was pretty bulky with the U-turn, but it's like me, and he goes for Dragon Pulse. I can kind of conclude that he's not that offensive, because he does a good chunk, but he doesn't do that much. And now I'm kind of just, I don't know if I was predicting a switch. I think I was predicting a switch, because like, you know, I just Ice Beam you. He didn't. He says, and then I get a burn, and you know, that's nice. It helps him chip down, and we get into this quite a, it's not really stall. It's just like both being super stubborn, where I'm like, if I could, you know, really get him to use all of his recovers, it means that suddenly he can't heal. And that means that Gastrodon is actually a problem too, because Gastrodon against this team is actually pretty good, because it's my sponge. apparently, and I can't really switch anything into this, which is exactly what I'm going to do, because I'm like, you're going to go for Dragon Ball, so I'm going to go to Metagross. Also because I didn't know all of his moves. We've seen Dragon Balls, we've seen Recover, so I'm like, what do we have? Like, do you have Sop? Do you have yeah? So I just go into Metagross, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to double out again because I want to see if he has something to hit me. And he switches out. Did I actually, no, this might not have been the turn where I did it then. Yeah, I double out too because I wanted to see if he had a move, and I mean, this is good for me, right? I get my Gastrodon for free in against the Steelix, so I'm just like, yeah, I'm just going to click Scald. And that's generally a trend with this battle, is that we were supposed to play in the morning, and he was very late, and I was like, okay, now I don't have time to play, because I had to work on my thesis. So I basically, you know, spent 5 hours straight, like, super hard working on the thesis, so, like, my brain was fried by the time we got to this. So, predicting things like that, no. So I click Scald. I click Scald. I am very, very obvious. But at this point, my goal is still to get him to use all of his recovers, and, you know, Gastrodon is kind of doing that for me. And he just Dragon Pulses. And like, don't you have something better to hit me? But he doesn't, and I Ice Beam, and we just chip him down, force him to recover again, take some chip from the burn. It's super nice, it's kind of the same. I'm trying to keep it sane, he recovers as I wanted him to. So that's really great. That is always good to recover when you need to recover, and I recover because I also want to stay healthy. So we're just recovering. We are all recovering. We are all in recovery. But he's used more than I have, so that's a good thing. Like, he has been using more recovers than I do, and now he shows that he has refreshed, and I'm like, that's a bit of a bummer because the burn kind of helped chip him down, but it's actually also not the best one. And hey, I could get a freeze! I did not get a freeze. So I'm like, I am going to, you know, just take your hit. Like, you will always be faster and just, like, use all your Dragon Pulses, and that's fine with me. And I will just Toxic you, because then, you know, we still get the chip. And yeah, he has refresh, but he also has to use it. So it forces him to refresh and to recover a lot more, which is exactly what we want. So I think at this point I do actually recover myself. Yeah, I recover myself. 3 refreshes I recover, because then, you know, full health, and he has to recover next turn, because otherwise, like, he gets very low, and that's a bit creepy. So I believe I switch out. Yeah, I do switch out into Metagross, yeah, because still, like, I want to scout what your last move is. Like, am I safe with this thing, or am I not safe? So going into Metagross on his recover, because, you know, I knew I would get in for free, basically. He's back at 4, that's great. On Toxic, it's going really well. We're just double swapping out back into Gastrodon, because, you know, Gastrodon again, it's my sponge. It has to sponge everything. It's just, and it shows a Shadow Ball, so I'm like, okay, that does less than Dragon Balls. Obviously, a lot less. And now things are going to be bad. He hasn't been doing that much to me. I don't know if it's just like rolls that have just been in my favor or what happened. But I'm like, okay, I can attack him here because I can take 2 Dragon Pulses, because, you know, I'm a pretty good health, man. I'm a good health. So I can Ice Beam this turn, and the next turn I can recover. And be, you know, pretty safe. And I don't know what happens with this roll, if it's just like math that did not work in my head during this game. That could also be a thing. But we end up being pretty low. And I'm like, okay, this is bad. And, you know, he just Dragon Pulses again, and I was like, damn, that's very bad. Because Gastrodon was so important for this team. So okay, I go in. I know he doesn't have a second move, just his Dragon Pulse. Okay, I go into the Dragalge, and I'm like, I have to attack what's in front of me. And he just switches, which, you know, is what the smart person would do. And he just goes into Clefable, because, you know, it's what the smart player would do, and he's obviously immune. And I'm like, okay, I'm still going to attack what's in front of me, which is kind of dumb, because now he just switches into Steelix, who for some reason did not nickname, I just noticed. So he's immune again, and he basically forces me out, and that's a bummer, because that also gives him potentially free rocks. Like, it's not super nice, but I go into Tangrowth, because if he does go for an offensive move, which he could do, which he does, and then I could take it, but instead he switches out into the Clefable again. And now it gets funky because, you know, obviously I have Slush Bomb. This thing is possible. We can do a good chunk, except the seismic tosses. And if there's one thing that can make me panic, it's a fairy type setting up. I don't know if it's because I'm secretly a Komodo in spirit or what happens. But fairy types setting up freak me out. But I Slush Bomb, and you know, yeah, it's a good chunk, but it doesn't really do anything. And now it's kind of... He has a second free Cosmic Power, and I'm like, okay, abandon mission. We go into Metagross right away because it's like Dragalge, because it's not offensive, doesn't actually do that much to him. And while he hasn't seen it, it's still a bit like, you know, and I wanted to force him out because this is not nice. I don't want to die to a Clefable not ever dying against me. So, you know, get Metagross in. And this is a trend. Like, I have to attack what's in front of me because the lead situation left me so much on the back foot. That is just... It's a bit of a bummer because, you know, I feel like if I could have been, you know, been protecting better, double switching, but my brain was just not wired to it, and I never felt like I got into a position where I could really do it. So instead of this medium mash into this thing, I'm like, could you give me, like, an attack boost? That could be nice, because then Earthquake would actually threaten him. I mean, I don't have Earthquake, but he does not know that I don't have Earthquake, but it doesn't happen, so instead, I have to switch out again and go into this thing, because it was like, you're going to go for rocks, or you're going to go for Niku, and he goes up for the rocks, and that's not really great for my team. It's not great for my team at all, actually. Okay, but yeah, I go into Tornadus, and he switches out, because obviously I'm threatening him with a Heat Wave. So he goes into this thing, and I'm like, this is the one time I'm like, you're not going to stay in. I'm going to Hurricane, and luckily we do land it. So it does quite a good chunk. But now I was doing Calcs, because Hurricane, accuracy, 70%. Not that great. Sludge Bomb would not take him out, which is a bit of a bummer, because I would actually like to have Tornadus in on the field. But that leaves me with either risking 30% chance of missing, and this bird taking a heck of a lot of damage, or I click U-turn and get out, even though that's not really optimal, but I have to go with the U-turn, because the less damage than if I missed. So we get the... Oh, I have actually forgot. I had to manage these, and I did not. What has died on my side? Has anything died on my side? I don't have Gotcha. I don't even have my own right team. You know what? Never mind these. They're not helping, really. Yeah, Gastrodon died. No, we just do this. Problem solved. Since I haven't been managing them anyway, I don't think it matters. But I risk go away too. Yeah, so, you know, Latias down. Woo, we're not getting 6-0'd. That's a good start. Because Latias was annoying. Like, yeah, it was just annoying. But I guess because, you know, I had Grenadier, it was outspeeding and it was already shipped down. It was like, Then, like, okay, I knew that no matter what I did, he had an answer for whatever I sent in. And this is quite sad. I was like, okay, you know, we get Blaziken in. Blaziken is bad to get in, and there was really nothing that could stop it, because if he has Protect, then he's going to outspeed even Grenadier, and Grenadier cannot take a hit at that point, and I don't have Water Streaking, and I don't even think Water Streaking would take this out, so it's just like, no matter what I get into, Blaziken generally says hello, and, you know, I can't switch into that, and there's a lot of other things I can't switch into, but I switch into Dragality, because, you know, at least it's pretty bulky, we take rocks, and it's pretty bad, and he just goes for Flare Blitz, because he's a fighting bird that's made of fire. I mean, it does less than half, so, you know, that's pretty nice. It is pretty nice, and I think he gets a speed boost, it doesn't matter, like, he can't kill me, and he's obviously a bit threatened now, because he takes a heck of a lot from a move, and I think I click some kind of move, he goes into Scissor. I just Dragon Pulse, because it was kind of like the middle, because Clefable doesn't want to switch into me, and at least we can get some damage off. And yeah, I mean, I did some damage, and he just bullet punches. I'm like, please slip, because I just clicked in Power Fire, because I don't really have a good switching anymore, because guess what, my switching was Gastrodon, and this is where you wish you were just a little bit more offensive, but if you had been more offensive, then you wouldn't have been able to really take the bullet punch anyway, and I don't know how much of a difference that makes. But it makes it so that Dragality, which was basically one of the only things that could really take a hit from I mean, it couldn't win switch in again. I think that was kind of the thing. After rocks, I don't think we took another Flare Blitz anyway, so it was kind of like, So I go into Tornadus, and I know he forces me out, and I don't have Heat Wave, so I just click U-turn. I had checked, we could leave it. And this is so, I don't know, like, my brain, I brain fart every time I have a bird on the field. Because, yeah, you know, yeah, I can get it out. I just forgot the fact that, you know, I guess this is down. But I have a, you know, I have this thing, it's called a LIFO, and I go down to recoil. And so Tornadus outsped the whole team. And was actually super important too. So that was kind of bad. And now it's like, okay, now I literally have nothing. So now Blaziken is just going to come here and just going to win. And my only thing that I can try to do is to make it take so much recoil that it goes down and it becomes 3-0. Because I've lost at this point. Like nothing on my team lives this. So it was a bit of a bummer. And Tangrowth just drops like it's hot. But you know, at least he takes a lot of recoil. That's a good chunk of recoil. And then I was like, okay, Metagross, you have more health than Greninja has. So now you're coming in because, you know, you can come in and you can be here and it's great. But, you know, it's quite simple. He obviously goes for holding his differential. And he, of course, goes to Steelix, who we can't touch, and who I still don't know why it's not nicknamed, and I didn't even notice in the original battle. But I'm like, okay, give us the boost, give us the boost, give us the boost. I did not get the boost. Then, you know, give me the freeze, give me the freeze, give me the freeze. I'm asking for hacks, I don't care. We don't get the freeze either, and we actually just died to an EQ. So that's karma biting in the butt. And we're basically stuck with a Greninja who has no way to take on the whole team and who's physical. And who's not at that much health, from what I believe. We basically are at no health. Yeah, 45, and after rocks. No, I think we're like 20-something. Yeah, 20-something. And here's a rock helmet, and I'm like, you're going to Clefable, so I'm going to show you that I had Gunk Shot, just so you know, and so that I can very much die to EQ. But obviously he doesn't, because I wouldn't have been able to kill him anyway. But you know, it is what it is. So unfortunately we do take a 4-0 loss. Which, I mean, it's a bummer. Yes. But generally, like, I didn't play this match that well. I wasn't frisky as I usually am. And I will also say I didn't have a lot of time to prep. And I think if there's one thing that's dangerous is not having a long time to prep. Not having a good matchup and playing against someone who actually knows what they're doing, as he quite clearly did. So, you know, it just made it very hard, especially like losing Gastrodon and Tornadus the ways that I did. That was just like shooting myself in the foot because I needed those two. I needed them to have a chance of winning, and that was not how it went. But hopefully we can bounce back next week. That would be nice. I would mind trying to get a win with this team. I mean, it is a bit hard because obviously I didn't draft the team myself, and it makes it a bit, you know, a bit more challenging, I think, because I don't really know what the process for picking this thing over that thing and such is. But I mean, there are things that I've used before, so there's also things that I haven't. And it's just, at this point in this, it's just about to have fun. And I'm a bit sad that Mimikyu is no longer the kill leader, but it hasn't really had a good matchup. So, you know, it is what it is. Because look at Mimikyu in this team. How's it breaking Scissor? How is it breaking Steelix? Special? Simu? I don't know. It's what it is. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, keep it cool. Bye.